August 19th, 2020. Finally getting some irrigation water on this buckwheat and sweet corn. So that little drought pocket that I showed the other day, maybe we'll just take a walk over and have a look at that quick. That little drought pocket that I showed the other day is getting some good moisture, and that should help it bounce back and recover and grow a little better. With the irrigation, they're already starting to perk up, but you can still see the wilting in here, and you can see how dry the soil was and still kind of is. I'm going to dose them with some irrigation, and I irrigated the upper part of this last night. Showed that in the video uploaded previous to this. And just the lower edge of that newly establishing buckwheat block got missed by about like 2 feet. So this will cover that and this, and then we'll move down and I'll be irrigating that new drilled seed in. But I wanted to do another video regarding microclimates. Well, here, we'll go take a look. So here we are down at the main sweet corn blocks, and I was just going along here doing some close observation. I try to do that, I'm trying to make myself do that pretty frequently. It's still really easy to miss things from time to time, just because, especially when you start planting multiple crops together like this, there's so much going on. It's easy to look right by something and not see it. But the corn is doing really well. The buckwheat's doing really well. I showed the honeybees working in here yesterday when the sun was out, just swarming in here, and many other native and wild pollinators as well. The sunflowers are taking off. They're starting to think about some flowering action. But regarding monitoring your soil and paying attention to subtle cues that the plants are telling you in that soil, I just wanted to point out here, I actually track my grow areas for all the years that I've been working in. I track what I've been doing on them, and I usually do that through a combination of AutoCAD mapping software and Google Earth. More and more so as the Google Earth Pro tools are getting better, I'm leaning to Google Earth because it just provides that update imagery without a lot of messing around, from capturing that imagery, bringing it over to an AutoCAD program, and then scaling it appropriately to fit my working area. So that's a very handy tool, free to use. Google Earth Pro, just download it and do your thing. Lots of measurement tools on there, area tools, the ability to roll back in aerial photography over time and look at what was going on in different blocks at different years. It's every year, every other year they take imagery, so it's not a super fine gradient of information, but when it comes to farming, it works out pretty well. So anyway, back to the whole actual subject at hand here. I had run the chicken tractor in this for I think 2 years in a row when this was just grass. Prior to that, this was all overgrown with rose bushes, and I came through and pulled them out over time and sort of conquered this area back. As rose bushes, and also there were some blackcaps in round about this area in here. So after the chicken tractor last year, I did a buckwheat cover crop in here, and that worked out reasonably well. And now this year I've put this group of crops in, sweet corn, buckwheat, underneath is some sweet clover, in the edges is some orange Hawaiian marigold, you can see those sticking out here and there, and sunflower. So sort of a high diversity multi-species cover crop and production crop and honey crop all in one. Anyway, as I ran the chicken tractor through here a couple years ago, there were a couple spots where I had just gotten too many things going on in the farm, and I didn't get back to move the chicken tractor as fast as I should have. And there was one spot that sat for about 2 weeks, and I just want to see if you can spot where that chicken tractor sat for 2 weeks. Yeah, that's right. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? Everything here is much taller and much more robust. And as I was going through here and pulling out a few amaranth weeds, I actually looked up and I saw this buckwheat up here as high as the corn. I'm 6 foot tall and this is up to my chin. So you're talking at least a 5 foot tall buckwheat plant in with corn plants that are already nearly 5 feet tall. And you can see, I know this area gets less sunlight, so we'll sort of exclude that from our data set. But if we look at this section, which gets good sunlight and has had good moisture and all that, you can see that even though this is robust and dense and doing really well, this area where the chicken tractor was stalled for longer is significantly further ahead and is doing a lot better. So this goes back to adequate nutrition for plants, and that goes back to healthy soils. And so this chicken tractor brings nutrient into the soil and biology. That biology gets accelerated, and then that starts unlocking more mineral nutrition in the soil, and that makes the whole system accelerate. So I just wanted to point out another sort of microclimate and another soil observation based on some history, so you can kind of have a better idea of how it works in context, and why I blabber on about these sort of things for so long in these videos. I hope you find this interesting or informative. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network.